Okay, so yeah, should be recording now, hopefully. So, yeah, we're in Star Rail today for kind of a special day. Of course, still gets on our phone, like as soon as I say anything. Um, my account is almost 2 years old. Um, if you go to your data bank characters, you can see the age of your account by seeing your first awakening on your Trailblazer. You can also, if you did more than just create an account on the first day, you can check your March or your Dan Heng and see that, as well as maybe even Asta. As those are characters that you get like pretty much right at the beginning, even Serval as well. That character you probably got in. Oh, actually, I'd heard of the next day. But yeah, my account is almost 2 years old. Um, I should have maybe made a team for this, but yeah, it's been quite different from what it used to be. I used to run a team like this all the time in Star Rail. I was going back and watching some of the old videos.
I will fight alongside you, Lady Bronya.
I was going to say they're gonna yap now. They didn't used to do that, back in the day. But yeah, I used to run a team like this, except this was Destruction Trailblazers, so it was worse. This would like maybe be this would be decently playable now, for sure, but definitely was it's just not the same as it was back in the day. But yeah, we're on a planet that didn't exist 2 years ago. I think it did exist the last time I did an account review. Yeah, it did. Because last time I did an account review was in September 2024. And that was for all my Hwahhwah accounts. But today we're just doing Star Rail. I think it's probably better to keep these focused to one game. I'll be doing my ZZZ one next during the ZZZ anniversary because it will be a year into me playing ZZZ. But yeah, the Star Rail anniversary is 2 years of me playing Star Rail, but I did not start on day one of Star Rail. I don't know what exact date release, but I know I didn't start day one. Um, but yeah, and I know that today is not, when I'm recording this, it's the 27th. It will be turning into the 28th as I'm recording it in about 2 minutes, as it's 11:57. But yeah, I know that it's not the full 2 years, but my account isn't really going to advance too much further in the next 2 days because yeah, I'm kind of at a point of stagnation in a way with my account in a good way as well. So yeah, we can kind of talk about that and stuff. I thought that first I would show, because I have to pull it up on a different website. A screen, pull it up, and there we go. Boom, first try. Okay, so yeah, pool history. Um, Not very good for the character event warp, I won't lie. That's pretty bad. We're in the top 3% of pools, and we also are relatively pretty lucky with 4 stars. So, yeah, I mean, that is a thing, but just, don't look at the 5 stars too closely, maybe. The wire is wrapped around an. Okay, stop talking about white. Okay, so character event warp. This does have every single pool that I've done accounted for. By the way, it's perfectly up to date. If I did this in ZDZ, it would not be because they didn't have it working on mobile until. I mean, I don't even know if they have it working on mobile yet for ZZZ, but they do for Star Rail, so I can actually do it in Star Rail. My PC does not have enough storage for me to be downloading Hwahhwah's games on it, so I cannot, unfortunately, upload my full history very easily if there's not a way to do it through the mobile versions, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, for Star Rail, first ever limited 5-star pool was a 50-50 loss for Bronya. Back on the 3rd of May 2023, so quite a while ago. And as you can see, I did not get my first 50-50 win until November, so it took a little over 6 months for one of those. I think that was my first 50-50 win in any Hwahhwah game as well. And since then, I have won very few. But, I mean, it's worked out pretty well, I would say. I got the characters that I wanted for the most part. And at good times, as I've been able to clear most of the content in the game. There was the whole anniversary. You know, I can actually pull it up real quick. Let me. Okay, now here we go. In-game mode clear rate. So as you can see, it's slowly built up to the harder ones. Apparently, I didn't even attempt the first pure fiction. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't feeling it at the time. But, I mean, I don't know how I missed two. When I like miss ones, I think I missed ones in the other one as well. I don't understand, but yeah, pretty much as soon as like I can clear it once, I've been able to clear it consistently, hardest difficulty and everything. So to the actual account review. As far as the worlds go, I got all the chests in Panagoni finally, like a little bit after Euphorius dropped. But as for Euphorius, I have not collected all the chests yet because I'm lazy. I do have the item that makes it where you can automatically find them. I just haven't gone through and gotten them all yet. There's also some like puzzles and stuff that I'll need to do. The story, I still need to finish the current part that was just added in the last patch when they added casters, which is this current patch. And then as soon as I finish that, I can do this event. But outside of that, I have everything else fully completed. All in-game modes are completed. Pure Fiction, I'll be doing that as like soon as it drops tomorrow when I get a chance, and uploading that. So be expecting that at some point tomorrow. It'll probably drop around the same time this video does if I don't get it edited tonight. But we'll see. It's still pretty early in the night for me. It's only like what 12. It's not even 12:30. So yeah. We'll see about that. My current pull plans at this exact second. I am currently pulling for I realized I went on a super long tangent about my pull history and then didn't even like really go into my entire pull history because I got distracted by my own yapping. So to finish that, these are all the 5-star characters I've got. And then if you want to see all the 4s, there's quite a few of them. They do help, you know, get additional pulls, which can lead to 5-stars. The last one I got was we got Seele from my first 50-50 loss since the banners changed, which was directly after Casterus. A very early 50-50 loss twice in a row is a pretty good thing for me, although I wouldn't have minded getting E1 Tribute into Casterus, into Seele, into View, but I mean, that outcome is a bit harder to get. Okay, so while my character event warp stats are pretty bad, my light cone event warp stats go kind of crazy, so I do think that it makes up for it. Like, look at this. Actually, a real thing that happened, by the way. It was on stream. We got Caster's light cone at 7 pity, which I think is the earliest 5-star thing I've gotten in this game, right? Would appear to be so. But yeah, I mean, it's not too far off of the Rappa one, which I think that was also on stream or something as well. But yeah, pretty good luck. I've won every 75-25, which is really nice. That is not the case for me in DCC. I did lose my first one, but I still ended up getting Ellen's W engine later, which definitely sees a lot of value nowadays, if you're wondering, for sure. But yeah, I'm currently pulling for Fugue's Light Cone. I got Casteris's, so I want to try to get Fugue just because I happen to get the light cones for every single part of the break team except for Fugues and Ruan Mei's, but I will be getting Ruan Mei's light cone next, or the patch after next, or whatever, right? From whenever the Battle Pass resets, basically. Whenever Battle Pass resets, you get 2 more of those light cone pool currencies, so I'm going to be using that to get Ruan Mei's light cone for sure. And then Stellar Warp is Stellar Warp. Like, honestly, I couldn't care less about what happens on the Stellar Warp. It's pretty much just a nightmare to use, and I hate it, so I try not to pay attention to it. If you want to see my stats there, it's apparently not that bad, but I mean, I really don't care too much about that one, as not too much good that can come from it, even in the best case scenarios. But yeah, unless it's like super unrealistically best case scenarios. But yeah, now that we've done pool history, we can do. Guys, if you wanted to see the current state of my game stuff real quick, everything's completed. And if you want to see the teams that I used, I don't think those were the exact teams that I used for all of my initial clears of those, as I did not have casters for my initial clears, but I did go back with casters and get their scores a little bit better, trying her out. I think that was even before I have had her in her current state, since she's a lot better now than she was at the time. So, very strong character, but yeah, with all that out of the way, we can now look at all my characters, and we're going to start with the right side and work our way up, because I can just say Arlen's not built, Moses not built, Misha's not built, Hook's not built, Luca's not built. Yukong? Okay, Yukong was almost built. Kind of same thing with Luca, but I never got around to actually building them. I did say I would build Yukong when they got her to E6, which happened a while ago, but she like super fell off. I mean, did she ever have a position where she was like in a state of being on, I guess, if they're not being fallen off? But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, not that great. Lynx, I did use quite a bit before I had Hwahhwah slash Lingsha. So she was built at one point. She is currently not built. But I mean, she has like some random stuff equipped, I guess. Not great stuff, but still stuff. I mean, this Lycon's not bad, but I do have 2 copies of it, so that's why one is on her. Qingque, I kind of want to go back and build again. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not really sure if I want to commit to building her just yet, but yeah, I have used her a few times. Most of the time, if I use a character like Qingque or Xueyi, it's just me swapping around relics on characters that I already have. But Xueyi actually has a build that's like not the worst of pieces lying around, but definitely need to go back and finish out the build if I want to. Which I mean, I don't really mind using Xueyi that much. She's actually a pretty fun character to play. Don Heng, I've like never really had build. Especially when I was at E4 Trace, so you already know. Sampo, I've had built in the past here and there, but I've never maxed out his traces. He has like random pieces on. Not even good pieces, just pieces that exist. Pela, I've tried to use a few times and like have her pretty built, I guess. I don't know. I mean, these stats are kind of not even that great, but could be worse, I guess. I don't know. Um, I just never really liked Pela. I've had Silverwolf, so I always used her instead. And even though that would be controversial to some, she's getting buffed though, so that won't be controversial for long. And I will be vindicated yet again on my take that Silverwolf is better than Pela, that I've maintained since Silverwolf's release. But uh, yeah, I guess we'll see more about that later. Natasha, I used a bit before Lingsha's release and kind of after Lingsha's release because it took me forever to get my first copy of Lingsha for some reason. But I mean, she's not that well built. She just has random stuff on. Like, if you want to see the random stuff, I guess I can show it. It's like not well, this one's leveled, but the other ones were not. Those ones aren't even equipped on her. Sushang is actually a character I've like considered making a Freak effect off meta build thing for her just to try it out, kind of like a Xueyi situation, but I just kind of never get around to it because most of the time I've had characters to build, but at the moment, outside of getting like a few minor improvements to characters' relics for my main characters, there's not really much for me to do. Um, or getting Tracks of Destiny because I'm completely out of Tracks of Destiny, by the way. I need two more to finish building a few, but we can see more on that later. Hanya I've used in the past, and she has this equipped right now, I guess, and that's like not even that good on her because she had an attack per body, but she's there. Welt. I've considered building in the past and like gotten pretty close to doing it. I do have him E3. But yeah, I mean, he's got not the worst stuff in the world on, but it definitely could be better. Um, it's actually kind of a cracked. Oh wait, never mind. I was gonna say that's a cracked rope to have on my welt. It is not on my welt, so that does make sense. As you can see, the crit ratio is pretty bad. I think its effect hit rate's in like a good enough spot to be fine. Um, Even though I have an extra copy of his light cone that I'm not ever going to build, I don't feel right in superimposing it, so I have not, just in case. Ratio I use quite often. I don't anymore, but I did use them quite often. Currently, he doesn't even have a light cone equipped because I don't really have any that I can spare. But yeah, honestly, for not having a light cone, his stats aren't that bad. Just kind of needs some more crit damage and attack percent, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected whenever you don't have a light cone equipped. Um, but yeah, used him for quite a while until I got Fei Xiao, kind of. The reason I pulled for Fei Xiao was just to make sure my follow-up attack team would remain relevant in the current version of the game, which did work. Um, I have like a team of every archetype. Like I have a team of follow-up attack, I have a team of dot, I have a team of super break, team of remembrance slash summon, or whatever, you know. So I wanted to try to get like something of all the archetypes built. That way I could do any in-game mode with like any like type of team, I guess. Um, so yeah, pulling for a Fei Zhao was just to upgrade my follow-up attack team and help like keep it modernized, which did do. But ratio would still work for now. Like I think he's still pretty solid. Um, but Fei Zhao is definitely an upgrade. And then Seele. Seele is one of my latest characters, and I did max out her traces. I grabbed some pieces here and there off of some of my other characters and put them on Seele so that way it looks like she's actually decently built. And honestly, her crit rate's pretty good for her rope not having crit rate on it. I'm kind of surprised. I guess everything else has crit rate with some rules into it here and there, but yeah. E0, S0, Seele at the moment. I'll probably get her signature eventually, but for now, she's E0, S0 with 72 over 150, but this does increase her crit damage by 30%, so it'd really be like, what, 87 over 120 if I had her signature on her. Still isn't that bad. Bronya, I used to have built, I don't think, oh, she actually does have a build on at the moment. This was the build that I used to use for her, so, yeah, I guess I took it off my Sunday and put it back on her whenever I got better stuff for Sunday, but the signature, or not the Lycon I used to use on her was Dance Dance Dance, but I am currently not using it. I have another copy of Dance Dance Dance. I don't even know when I pulled that. That's like pretty new, because I would have leveled it up if I knew that I had that. But yeah, currently I'm using Memories of the Past, but there's definitely better options like Dance 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 if you have that. Very good. Like on any Harmony character. And my Bronya is E3 with max races because I used to use her very often. Very good character, even still, but Sunday's kind of just a better version of her directly, so I use him a lot of the time. But on to the next one, Jing Yuan, my least favorite character of all time that I am a massive hater on, but use occasionally, just so that way I can hate on him. He has a decent build going on right now. Definitely has seen better days. The better pieces of this set for me are on Himiko or Jade or Topaz, or just sitting there doing nothing, because I farm this set quite often. But yeah, could be worse, could be better, I guess. I mean, he does get crit. Most time I play him with Sunday, so he gets crit rate from Sunday. He also gets crit rate from one of his Teresa's. This one. Yeah. So does get crit rate in various ways. Gotta go back to Jing Yuan. Don't look at these guys. You're looking early. Okay. So yeah, that was Jing Yuan. Next up, we got Bailu. Used to use her quite a bit. Haven't used her in quite a while. She has one relic on right now, and it's not great. E0, by the way. Like one of the few standard characters that actually have decent scaling with Eidolons, but more for like technical stuff than practical things, I guess. I don't know. Global passive on E6, but not global. Just kind of similar. But she also has that Uber base kit anyway, so. Next up, Gepard. Gepard currently has day one of my new life for some reason. That should be. Oh, wait, never mind. This is the one that's on my March. I say that should be on my March, but that's not correct. Despite me using Gepard quite often, I did not ever fully max out his traces, and currently doesn't have any relics because they're all on my Aventurine. Literally just took them off Gepard, put them on Aventurine the day that I pulled them. They haven't been back on since. I'm pretty sure. Well, I think I did have them on when I did a video comparing him and my Yanqing, which kind of isn't a fair comparison because my Yanqing the E5. More on that in right now. So my Yanqing, S5, E5, currently has certainly got some relics on. I mean, can you really blame me for having this as like an off piece on him? Just existing. It's not even that bad. Not coping. I mean, this piece isn't that bad, for sure, but there's a lot of things wrong with him. I never use him as well, so that would make sense. You can see I'm currently out of Tracks of Destiny, but I have used them on Yanqing in the past. His E6, by the way, if you're wondering, is okay. It doesn't make him one-shot people or anything crazy, but maybe I will revisit building him whenever I get his E6 on my next 50-50 loss, because non-zero chance it's happening. I could technically pull another copy of him right now because I still have the anniversary they gave a free 5-star selector thing. I still have that, by the way, so I could get that if I didn't want to get Ruan Mei. But I'm actually saving it for literally anyone else that I don't have, so we'll see. I have Ruan Mei already, so I don't really care to get her E1. I thought about Locha quite a lot, but I'm gonna probably pull her Hyacine anyway, so I don't need him for casters. That's future plans. So next up, Clara. I've used Clara quite often, and I'm trying to get her in a playable state, rebuilding her and stuff, but I guess I just have that piece flying around, so you can have it for now, Clara. She should have a pretty decent crit rate with this build that I currently have, but I'm not sure on the actual damage output she'll have with this build. This isn't that bad of a build for Clara, just because she doesn't really care about 10% extra physical damage bonus or whatever. Like, rather just have like as much attack as possible anyway. So as long as you can do that, and then running on the fall on her, it swaps users depending on who needs it. March. Currently, I have March on Return to Darkness because normally I play her with either Cruising or Sleep Like the Dead. My hunt light cone, it depends on who I'm running, will like swap around. Like if I am just using March or just using Topaz and not using Facial, then they will be the ones holding Cruising as it's very good. But yeah, I mean, this isn't the worst option, I guess. Get some crit rate buffs with it. But yeah, she has E6 and everything. She has a pretty good build, I would say. I did build this on like the first day that I got her. So it hasn't really seen like too many changes over time, but it definitely could be worse. It's not bad. I get occasional musketeer pieces when farming bosses, but it's not even really that often. And then my preservation march is also built, by the way. I have the S5 Battle Pass light cone for preservation that I keep on this version of March because I like my March to have non-zero damage. And yeah, she has pretty good defensive pieces and stuff. So that way she has 4,000 defense. I definitely could improve the build. Maybe I'll do it in the future, but I've been a little too focused on other characters, and I would probably like to improve my hunt march first before my preservation, if I do go back and change that. So Serval is someone that I actually do try to use in a lot of scenarios, but she does have a build, at least, which is an interesting feat in and of itself. Sometimes I give her the pieces I have in my doctor ratio as well, actually, because she can use that set pretty effectively. And yeah, if you have tried Serval in modern times, you would think this character would be useless because this character had been seen as one of the worst characters in the game at launch and is one of the launch 4 stars. So you would think that they would not have actually aged that well, but she's surprisingly not that bad in pure fiction specifically. And with the current trend of all the in-game modes having large quantity of enemies that you're fighting at the same time, she actually hasn't had that bad a performance in the other in-game modes, but she does significantly better in pure fiction. And I don't think that she's even like that bad of an idea, or like it's that bad of an idea to build her, because you should get her E6 relatively easily. For free to play if you're trying to find a 4-star character to invest in. As there's not too many of those anymore. But another one of those is Tingyun, who I do have built. the moment. I have Planetary Rendezvous on her because I play with Kafka sometimes, but you can change your Harmony light cones depending on the situation most of the time, so just do whatever feels best at the moment. But yeah, 160 speed could be better, but it's like not the end of the world. Sometimes I use this on her, sometimes I'll use like Dance Handstands, depending on the situation, sometimes Memories of the Past or Meshing Cogs. They can work at certain times better than others, but yeah, I still think Tingyun is quite strong as a support, and I do sometimes I'll test out on stream. I won't really upload these, but I'll test out some more like free to play friendly setups for clears after I've already completed my clear, just to see how the free to play teams would perform. Like if I just had one 5-star character instead of running a full team of 4 in most situations. But yeah, Tingyun's like one of the characters I use on that pretty often. And then standard Herta, I do have built. She is actually one of my more recently built characters. The crit ratio is like whatever. She gets the job done in pure fiction, so that's all I really care about. She performs better in pure fiction than my Jingli, which is definitely not a reflection on the quality of my Jingli and the state of Jingli at the moment, but we can get more on that later. Asta is also a character I will forever glaze. I think this character is pretty good still. Uh, she's used in really specific scenarios, and she makes your team go very fast, but she's really good in those specific scenarios. Uh, she speeds up the entire team. It's not like Hanya, where you're only speeding up like one person. And then Guinaifen, also a character I like a lot, but I haven't really played her in a long time. Um, just because Dot has been kind of hard to play in general, so Guinaifen's been a bit of a victim. That being an alternative to Black Swan, and I do have Black Swan, so she performs a bit better in those teams anyway, but the teams kind of underperform all the time. And now we are into 5-star characters I use very often, and these are some of my best built characters. So we're going to start with the worst of my best built characters, Aventurine. Why is he the worst of my best built characters? Because he is using relics that I farmed within the first month of me playing the game for the 4-piece. I'm pretty sure these are some of the oldest relics I have. They're pretty close to 2 years old at this point. These ones should be a bit newer because the set didn't release until later, but I wouldn't be surprised if even they're a bit antiquated in comparison to some of my other characters' relics that I use very often. But yeah, Aventurine has kept the same build, and you know what? He keeps my people alive, so just keep them the same. Sunday, one of my most recent characters, I do have his signature, get a signature relatively early in Pity. He's full build. I do not know why he currently has this equipped. Why do you have that equipped, Sunday? I do not understand. Whatever. Okay, he was full build. I guess I messed around with some of these 2 pieces. So now he is not. But I mean, look at this crit damage, by the way. Crit damage on everything, and like speed on pretty much nothing, unfortunately. But I mean, quite a lot of crit damage gets the job done in situations where I use him. I play him with casters sometimes, but I mean, the main reason I pulled him was for remembrance characters, as it was very obvious, like Topaz, that he was going to be a character that you get on your account to future-proof your account in a way, and like you get him for characters that you plan on getting later, kind of like with Tribby in a way. But I mean, I got mostly, or not mostly, but a lot of the reason I got Tribby was for Jade, which was a character I already had at the time, but more on her later. But yeah, unfortunately, Sunday did not end up being the best in slot for casters. and if I would have gotten a Glea as my remembrance unit instead, I was going to get a remembrance unit 100% because I got Sunday. And I chose Castress over Glea so that way I could get Face Out during her rerun. If I would have gotten a Glea, then Sunday would have had a lot more value, but then Tribby would have lost some value instead of me getting Castress, and it's not like Castress is a bad character, or a Glea is a bad character. They're both pretty good. But yeah, the situation worked out, but it's not the way that I necessarily intended it, unfortunately, with Sunday. The good thing about Sunday is that he's basically an upgraded version of Bronya. So at worst, he is someone that I play with Qingque very often whenever I use her in the like extremely rare edge cases where Qingque is actually still playable at the moment. But I mean, with what I've seen people talk about in their dreams whenever talking about Qingque's potential buffs, it does seem like he will still be useful for Qingque in those teams. So I am interested to see what will happen to Qingque after she receives those buffs. And also am not looking forward to having to get stuff for Qingque, but not to get into stuff that hasn't been revealed yet with her, but literally it's not going to be a fun time for me. Anyway, Rappa. Very recent character. Arguably one of the highest pool value characters I've had for a DPS, by the way. I know that supports get a lot of praise for being high pool value because you can use them on any team and in a lot of situations, but a lot of the time DPSs are not really included because they're far less flexible. Rappa has been like a mainstay in my in-game clears, in like general purpose clears for pretty much every single day since I've gotten her, or every single clear attempt or whatever. Very busted character. Totally not just because the fact that erudition characters in general are really strong right now, and Rappa is an erudition character. It was definitely me being 500 IQ and knowing that that was going to happen, and not a really big coincidence that Rappa has ended up being massive pool value. And the people that wanted to skip Rappa for Firefly definitely are not regretting that choice now, for sure, in some ways. But yeah, Rappa, very good character. Um, I farmed this set the most apparently in the past year, which doesn't really surprise me as I did farm it quite a bit. And the pieces I have for her are pretty solid as a reflection of that, but this doesn't have break effect. This doesn't have break effect. This doesn't have speed. This doesn't have attack percent. This doesn't have speed. And this doesn't have speed. So my pieces are still not even like that crazy. I mean, some of the substats are pretty crazy, like 9 speed's pretty good, but they still could be a lot better, basically. They're kind of fine. It's just kind of hard to build. Like, it's not hard, as in you need to get super rare stats for your break characters. You just have to have really high common stats for your break characters, which makes it pretty hard. But I still have 200% break effect, so I mean, it's not bad. Could be a lot better, though. Silverwolf is a character that I have used more than once to clear in-game content with the hardest difficulty fully cleared with all the rewards and everything. I've at least used her twice in the past year. So, Silverwolf W. Her build has changed though. Why do I have this on my Silverwolf? This is a lot of effect hit rate, but why do I have it on my Silverwolf over what I used to have on her? Yeah, that's what I used to run on my Silverwolf by law. Oh, I think it was for me running her with casters and testing some stuff out. Yeah, that's what I used to run on my Silver Wolf back in the day at 155 speed. I mean, look at these relics right here, these substats. Not bad. Unfortunately, it's not very good setup for Silver Wolf, but that's a bit beside the point. My Silver Wolf does quite a bit of damage with this setup, and by quite a bit, I mean certainly above 0. But really not anything too crazy. I don't think I ran that on my Silver Wolf, but maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. Anyway, Jade. I think Jade, if Rappa was like arguably one of the best pull value characters, Jade has been the best pull value character of any DPS in the game, actually bar none. It used to be kind of close with Topaz, um, but Jade, I literally just got so that way I could always say I will be able to cure or complete purification. Clear purification is what I was trying to say, but I ended up saying cure. Um, Jade has been the best character I've gotten in the game. Probably my most favorite DPS to play, gameplay wise, because she's very simple to play and does quite a lot with being simple. I got her E1 like almost within a 10 pull of getting her with a 50-50 win. So she gets use in Memory of Chaos for free, even if it's not a Memory of Chaos where there's a bunch of enemies on field, like every single Memory of Chaos has been. The only bad thing about Jade at the moment is that she is a quantum type, and Casters is also a quantum type, meaning that there's a bit of direct competition there. But honestly, I could still see myself using Jade in situations where Casters is on one team, Jade's on the other team, so it would probably still work out. You can also use Jade to brute force anything in Pure Fiction, pretty much, and she still gets like 40,000 points. I don't know if that's just because my Jade's E1. Even if that is the case, my crit ratio is quite awful on Jade. So, I mean, my crit rate's pretty good, but my crit damage is pretty bad, all things considered. I've been trying to maybe look into farming this set for Jade, but I haven't really like fully committed to it yet, so currently she's using the follow-up attack set, and she has pretty decent subsets on them, all things considered. This could definitely be better though, but apparently my Topaz has the better one of these. It definitely could be better in some ways, but still not bad. Hwahhwah, I got during her rerun. Used her quite often. Very good character still. I use the shared feeling light cone on her. I know that I have these two. That would give her more HP and maybe increase her healing, but her healing's still good enough for me. I mean, in a way, like in situations where her healing wouldn't be enough, it's not like this light cone's making the diff. I'm gonna be honest. This light cone is just very good because it increases your energy regeneration on people, which I mean, you're playing Hwahhwah for the battery, so it's just kind of increasing her effectiveness in that way. Good HP and effect resist stats, so that way she doesn't get CC'd that much, but she still does sometimes because her effect resist is not 100%, but it's still, like, not that bad. Could be better. I keep closing the thing. Next up, whoa, screen turned off, sorry. Next up, Fei Xiao. Fei Xiao is my second most recent DPS, unless you count Tribi as a DPS. I do have over 100% crit rate with her. And even though most of the time I play her with Remembrance MC now, so she gets even more crit rate with that kind of a setup, I would still keep it over 100% just because it is very, very bad whenever Fei Xiao misses a crit. So I am just not messing with it. My pieces for Fei Xiao are some of the best pieces on my account. This is because I farm the cavern where you get these pieces a lot. Not for Fei Xiao specifically, but for Rappa and Lingsha, and Fei Xiao just happened to benefit from it, even though I didn't have her at the time. I mostly pulled Fei Xiao just so that way I could put these relics on someone, I'm not gonna lie. Just because the relics are that good. I have also used variable dice on these relics to make them slightly better, and it's allowed my facial to still be useful. Like I used variable dice on this, I'm pretty sure, and I think I've also used it on this. Um, Still some areas for improvement on these relics, but I'm kind of not touching them. I would rather focus on trying to get casters for the Jade and Clara built with the new relic set rather than go back and farm this even more. But yeah, I did not farm this for Jade. I mean, for Fei Xiao. I farmed it for the other characters, for like the complete other set, with Rappa. It's just Jade happened to, I mean, not, I keep saying Jade, Fei Xiao happened to use these relics, and all the relics I got, I just, I just saved them in case one day I would get a character that could use them, and then Fei Xiao had a rerun, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get her so that way she can use them. And she's very good. I use her in in-game stuff. Even though in-game stuff has like multiple units that you have to fight, the current Apocalyptic Shadow had a thing that Fischl was really good at. So if you add value there, use her anytime that I can. And she's very good. Also very fun to play with RMC for like really big damage. Uh, Black Swan, I got her during her rerun. Not necessarily a character I regret pulling, as I do like Black Swan as a character, and I like Kafka as a character a lot. So I definitely would want to play Kafka's best team. But this character does not feel great, and I've never really finished building her properly, which is probably part of the reason as to why she doesn't feel great. Um, I don't know. I kind of like playing Guinaifen more than I like playing Black Swan in Kafka teams, even though Black Swan is better than Guinaifen. Even my Black Swan, not built in my Guinaifen build, Black Swan would still outperform my Guinaifen. But yeah, I only like very recently got Guinaifen's E6. Wait, is she even E6? Yeah, she is. It's very recent that I got it. Like maybe 2 months ago, by the way. Even though Guinaifen's character that I use quite often. But yeah, Black Swan, not necessarily a character I regret pulling, because I mean there isn't really anyone I would say that uh I regret pulling, because all the characters that I've pulled I've used for quite a bit of time to get through stuff at the very least. Um, intentionally pulled for. Like, obviously, I did not intentionally pull for characters like Ratio or Welt. Uh, so I don't necessarily regret pulling them that I don't use them because there's no reason for me to. But Black Swan was a character I intentionally pulled for. I don't really regret it, but definitely. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to like touch up on her build, but I farmed this set quite a bit, and her build's still pretty bad. So I don't know. Maybe I have to go back into the mines. We'll see in the future. Kafka, though, character that I farmed the set for, her build still not too great, but not the worst. Like these two pieces are pretty bad because I like very rarely farm directly for these, and most of the time I just craft them. The like link rope planetary stuff. But these pieces are pretty good. You have like 5 speed, 8 speed, 9 speed, 25 speed on the boots. Hard to beat that. So pretty fast Kafka, but definitely could be better. And decent attack for the speed as well. Her like break effect and effect hit rate's like not that high, but who really cares about those stats? Um, I haven't really seen anything about people talking about the Kafka buffs outside of like a small change or follow-up attack thing that doesn't really change anything. So still have to see stuff about her. But character that is getting buffed that I've heard some things about that worry me in some ways, but also interest me. Uh, Jing Liu, character that I tried to use in every situation where I can, and just hasn't really met the mark. I don't regret pulling for her because I pulled for her because I like the character, and I also listen to Amelie's music. That's the person that does her voice, by the way, in the Yen dub. Listen to some of her covers often. So yeah, I was always gonna pull for her, just off of that alone. And with Sunday, I use her often. I've used her with Silverwolf to clear stuff within the past year. Like some of the in-game clears I did with Silverwolf, a lot of the times they were Silverwolf and Qingque. I think there was one time I used Silverwolf and Fei Xiao, but I mean, yeah, pretty good team combo for sure. Ruan Mei. I've never really actually had Ruan Mei properly built, by the way. She technically doesn't have enough break effect in standard teams to proc her E4 passive fully, but it doesn't really matter. As a lot of the teams I play are in give break effect to the entire team, so she procs it off of that because it's not like one of those things where it counts at the beginning of combat, as you can see. It says in battle. So something that counts as like in combat would be like the new Planisher set. I mean, not Planet, the new 4-piece relic set. This one is at the beginning of battle or before battle. Um, you need to have those changes. So because you don't have to have the changes before battle, it doesn't really matter. And I'm able to make my Ruan Mei very fast at 151 speed, which certainly isn't bad. I definitely do need to run this, even though I would like to run Dance Dance Dance. I have to run this because I don't meet the break effect requirements uh, that I need with her without it. Eventually, I am going to replace this with her signature during the next battle pass, so just have to wait on that to reset. But for now, I am running Memories of the Past as 5 on her, but that will change. Next up, Himiko. She's currently using this. Erudition light cones are kind of like the Harmony ones slash the Hunt ones, where I just give characters what they need whenever I play them. So her stats are a little low because of that. But a lot of the time, I actually run Himiko in break effect teams, like Super Break, more than follow up attack teams. But even though I run her in break effect teams, she's still built like this because this is how you build Himiko for break effect teams. As in break effect teams, she does a lot of her damage from her follow-up attack, not really from like super break in a way. It's just her follow-up attack procs a lot in break effect teams because you're getting a lot of breaks, which is the trigger for her follow attack. So that's why you want to build a crit on her, or like kind of follow-up attack damage buff, because it's one of those things that like multiplies all of your damage. Um, directly by buffing follow-up attack. So, yeah. Very interesting character. Definitely one of the better aged characters, I would say, kind of like one of those pull value characters like Jade, except you're not really pulling for Yamako because you're probably losing a 50-50 to get her, like I did. But unfortunately, even though she is one of my most frequently used characters from the standard banner, I don't have a single Eidolon from her. Because why would I get an Eidolon for her when I can get E6 Yanqing in my next 50-50 loss? Or now it'll be like Blade in my next 50-50 loss or something. Um, even though I kind of actually do want Hwahhwah to be my next 50-50 loss so that way I can uh, play her in some teams because she's always been a character I found interesting playstyle wise, but uh, more on that when I pull her eventually, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Topaz Numby. Very high pull value character. Not as high as Jade, as she has kind of fallen off now, unfortunately. As much as I hate to say it. Um, Still very good in farts, but outside of fart, it's getting harder to use her. I used to play Topaz and Numby and like have Topaz be the carry, or like Topaz and Jade, Topaz and March, Hunt March and stuff, but or even like Topaz and Clara was a team I used back when Topaz first released because Clara's follow-up attacks got buffed by Topaz because he didn't really have like actual follow-up attack characters then before Topaz and Numby. There wasn't a Dr. Ratio or a Fei Xiao or a Mose or a Hunt March. So yeah, you just had to use like Himiko, and I didn't even have Himiko at the time, so it was definitely interesting. Very fun character to play, and one of my favorite characters, like lore story wise or whatever, But uh, unfortunately, she has kind of fallen off gameplay wise quite a bit, but still very fun. And then Lingsha is very sleeper character. I like this character a lot and use her all the time. I got her signature light cone thinking it would be more busted than it is. Like I thought that she used 10% of her breakup, or I thought that the um 8% damage boost thing of her break effect, I thought that was infinite scaling for some reason in my brain. So I thought that it would be a bit more than what it is, but it's still a very good light cone, even though that's not how it works because I can't read because I'm stupid. But yeah, it's still very good light cone, very good character. I like playing her, not even necessarily in Super Break teams, but there's a team where I just play her and Jade and have Jade be the carry. Play like her, Jade, Sunday, and Tribby in a team, and it's very fun. Like big AoE damage on repeat with Jade. And Lingsha herself does quite a lot of personal damage, so that always helps. In Super Break teams, she is very strong, especially with a character like Rappa, who is my main Super Break damage healer, because she applies AoE debuffs, which Rappa is able to use because she does AoE damage. So they work together very well. Oh wait, Gallagher's in my team. I was like, wait, did I skip Gallagher? Because I would have compared them. Anyway, my stance is actually Lingsha is better than Gallagher because if I'm gonna have the stance that Pela is worse than Silverwolf, I'm gonna keep it consistent and say that Gallagher is worse than Lingsha. Um, I definitely think Gallagher is better in specifically Caster's teams, but in break teams in general, Lingsha clears. And in general teams in general, Lingsha clears. But in Caster's specific teams, Gallagher is better. That's the one key scenario, which is a very important, non negligible case scenario to have. But I mean, that's technically not even his job. His job is to be a break healer, and he can't even do that better than Lingsha. So Lingsha W. Very unbiased opinion. Next up, my latest character, Few. She's currently still under construction, so some things have to be improved here and there. What's her effective rate? Not bad. I'm using this light cone on her at the moment. I am pulling for a signature. If I get it, that would be nice. If I don't get it, I honestly don't really mind that much. Honestly, this light cone's like not even that bad for her in a way. Um, I guess if you wanted her own personal damage to not be that bad, which I mean, it's definitely not negligible just because she's in Super Break teams, and that's just how Super Break works. But the main issue I cannot finish building her is because I am completely out of Tracks of Destiny. Just a thing that is a problem you have if you're me, I guess. I don't know. I did have to craft thieves, which sucked the other day, and they're not that great. So maybe we will be back in the mines for these soon. We'll see. Next up, Robin, my most played character in Star Rail to date, I guess. Use her in everything. The song that is sung by her ultimate is permanently stuck in my head. And I think even if I hear like a single like small sound of one note from the beginning of the song, if I'm like 80 years old and have dementia and living in a nursing home, I'm pretty sure that would cause me to like freak out. Just, I think it is permanently etched into me at this point, and not in a good way because of how much I have played Robin. But her build is not the worst thing in the world, but could be better. Um, I tried to get as much attack percent and effect hit rate, or not effect resist as I could fit in to the build while also keeping like energy regeneration being a thing, so that way your ultimate has a lot of uptime and stuff. But yeah, definitely not the worst build, but could be better. Gallagher, currently using the Battle Pass light cone on him because it is good for casters teams. His build has been completely readjusted to fit casters teams, as he now has as much HP percent in speed as I can fit onto it. He happens to have a little bit of break effect, but I literally just grabbed the highest speed and HP percent combination I possibly could and put it on him. So now he has like 8,000 HP almost in 151 speed, which isn't bad, and that's how Castrate's team works. And similarly, I have a somewhat close scenario going on with my RMC. I'm out of tracks of Destiny, so I cannot complete these, by the way. But as soon as I get enough tracks of Destiny, I might. So yeah, high speed, high HP, and try to get some crit damage in there where I could as well for RMC. But honestly, mostly just care about the other stats. And then Casterus, one of my latest characters, but technically not my latest, as I got Seele and Fugue in between me pulling her and now, but not the worst crit ratio, could be better. Pretty high HP, got her signature. All of her pieces have double crit, I'm pretty sure. Okay, everything except the planar sphere. But I am farming for this planar sphere, so that way I can try to fix that. That's my current main objective. I don't plan on getting Eidolons forever, really. They're not bad, but they're not like that crazy. S1 is a pretty good stopping point if you plan on getting her before her banner is gone. You don't have too much longer before her banner is gone, but there's still some time. Tribby. I non-sarcastically, I pretty much pulled Tribby for Jade. Because when I pulled Tribby, I was like, I'm throwing away my guarantee on casters for Tribby. And it's mostly just because Tribby is a support, so it can be used in more scenarios and works really well with Jade, so I'll just take it. And then I was pulling for Tribby's E1 to build Pity for casters and happened to lose 50-50 to Yanqing at like 10 pulls, so ended up being able to get both. But her signature did take me a while to get. It was one of the first signatures that took more than one pull or whatever for me in quite a bit of time. But did manage to win the 75-25 at least, so pretty good. Very good signature. A lot of people use DDD instead, which is definitely not bad, but this allows you to have less restrictive energy, which is really nice and is a very good light cone for tributes. But Dance 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 is certainly not bad. And with that, we are done. And my voice is kind of dying because it's been a while since I've yapped for this long on stream or recording or anything. But yeah, that's all my characters at the moment and everything. I know that this isn't fully 2 years in, but I'm still going to call this 2 years in because we've only got like 2 days before 2 years. And the builds aren't going to change much. At most, I'll probably get a slightly better Fugue in between now and then. Because I will likely, not likely, there's like a chance I'll get some tracks of Destiny before then. But I'll be farming for, I'll be farming for double crit Planetsphere with my Casterus in Tribby, because I want to try to get their Planetspheres better, because that's like the main area these two are lacking, is the Planetspheres department, so I want to try to get that fixed. So yeah, that's my current account and state of everything in Star Realm. So I know that I've been yapping for a bit. I'll try to edit out some of the yap, but yeah, I've got quite a lot of memories with these characters and stuff. I don't really have, like, the teams that I've used over the years in here or anything, but, I mean, you can see some of the teams that I use. You have, like, Hwahhwah. my follow-up attack team. Dot. I also call it Dot Roommates. Because you have Black Swan and Kafka. And then I called this team Break My Heart in Divergent Universes where these names are from the Dua Lipa song. And then Casto Rica, Pure Fiction follow-up attack team. Basically my best Jade team. This is the one that I use for like everything, and part of the reason why Robin is one of my most played characters. Because notice how on the thing, whenever it wasn't Robin, in more recent times it was Lingsha. But really it was like Jade in a way, because I was always using her for like everything. And then Seele. Currently my Seele team, although sometimes I swap it out with like you can literally run Seele in this team and it's not that bad. You just maybe replace Gallagher with Sunday if you want to like try to zero cycle. Or I don't even know if it's Sunday or if it's like Robin in a situation where I want to zero cycle there. And then these teams are just teams that I've like had placeholders for ideas when I'm yapping off screen about. But yeah, definitely. Oh wait, there's actually one more thing. I can Nintendo Direct show you guys. We got Harmony MC, which I currently have built. If I can get there. I used Harmony MC before I had Fugue for Super Break teams. Now I have Fugue, so I don't have to worry about it as much. I wanted to make sure that I got Fugue because not only did I want to make sure I had the RMC for casters teams, but I actually wanted to go back and explore the Destruction and Preservation Trailblazers and see if I could do stuff with them. I know that people use the Preservation Trailblazer in free-to-play versions of Acheron teams. I don't have Acheron, but I still want to try some stuff out with the Preservation Trailblazer, but the main Trailblazer I actually want to focus on rebuilding is the Destruction Trailblazer. I want to build a Super Break team that uses the Destruction Trailblazer. Ever since Super Break was a thing, I've wanted to do this, but I could not because Super Break was enabled by the Harmony MC. But whenever they announced Fugue, I wanted to get Fugue so that way I could run Super Break Destruction Trailblazer. And the reason that I want to run this is because of this effect right here. When attacking enemies that are weakness broken, you get 25% crit rate. So I want to have like a Xueyi style Destruction Trailblazer build where I have high crit rate and crit damage and break effect and see if they are actually still usable in modern times. But for now, I've been using them on RMC. But yeah, that's probably going to be the next thing that I do after I finish building Fugue. Maybe. I might go back and touch up on some of the character builds, and I might have to readjust these two whenever they get buffed and rebuild them entirely from the ground up because they got scaling on a different stat now instead of attack percent for some reason that I don't really understand. But that's beside the point. For now, though, I'm going to end things here for now. I should be able to maybe do the new Amphoria story tomorrow as of when this video gets uploaded. But if not tomorrow, then I'll try to get it done sometime this week because it's like 7 hours, which is going to suck to sit through. But I want to get this event done so that way I can get the pet Chimera. Because I wanted a pet Chimera ever since I saw one. Literally the day that Amphorius dropped, I was like, if they don't make a pet Chimera, like they did with the Tusker, I will be very upset. And then, now that they've finally done it, I've been waiting to get it. This has been Like, this has been the main thing that I've wanted out of the anniversary thing is to do this Chimera event. So that's what I'm waiting on, is to do the main story so that way I can go do it. Um, the issue I have with the Chimera, I talked about this before on stream. The issue I have with the Chimera is that it's wearing a summer hat and sunglasses and has a pool floaty. I wish it was just a regular Chimera that you could customize the color of, because with the hat, I can't really bring this thing to Bellabog because it would look very out of place. Not that it wouldn't look out of place normally, but it would look super out of place wearing a sun hat and sunglasses and pool floaty in Bellabog, which would suck. Unlike the Tusker, which I can bring pretty much anywhere and it doesn't really seem like that out of place. Also, they need to have a regular trotter. Not only should it be a regular trotter, but they should have the trotter from the express that you got from the Pokemon event. They should have that able to follow you around like the Tusker. And then you can play as Topaz and Numby, and you can have two uh, trotters following you. That would be really cool. But for some reason, that is not a thing because the world is cruel and unforgiving.